What's good, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to the Bishop Sons channel. I'm so excited for this video, and today we want to talk about fear. Fear has been one of the major emotions that have made us not to get to our desired reality. And first of all, you need to understand that fear and faith is just one thing. They all are energy vibrating in a different kind of level, and you need to know that fear by itself it's a negative emotion that dampens the signal to your desired reality. And fear also by itself is one of the characteristics of your old frequency. And as I always say, that as you get into the journey of your desired reality, you need to know that you are actually going against an entity that was created by you, and that's your old frequency. And knowing very well that you're taking a different direction, it actually threatens its survival. You see, your old frequency has been with you for a very long time. It has been the one that has stayed with you for all this long, since the day you were born. And some of the things that you went through, it was with you. The hard times, it was with you. So you need to know that when you are venturing into a new journey onto your desired reality, and you are taking on a new direction, it threatens its survival. And the only thing that your old frequency wants, it wants to survive. It doesn't want to die. So anything that threatens its survival, like wants to make it go extinct, it will always try everything possible so that it stops this from happening. And fear by itself is like, you see, when you're experiencing fear, is like you have faith again in ignorance, or faith in evil, as someone once said. Because you need to understand that fear, like I said, being the characteristic of the old frequency, is just one of the ways, or rather one of the emotions that will draw you back and not make you get to your desired reality. And I explained in one of my videos, actually I elaborated and about how it operates in this fear. I said, like, your old frequency is scared. It doesn't want to go extinct. So it will always project fear onto you whenever you want to venture into a new direction in your life. Whenever you want to change your frequency, or rather hit the new frequency, it will always project its fear on you, so that you believe it, so that you relate everything that you do, or every change that you make in your life, with fear. So you'll be like wanting to do something new in your life, and you get scared. Fear enters your nervous system, and now you stop from doing it. You start giving yourself reasons why you should not be doing it. You need to understand one fact for sure, guys, that the only way you can materialize your desired reality is knowing your level of spirit, is understanding the level of spirituality you are in. Because, like I always say, spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. You need to know that everything starts at the spiritual plane, and that the only way you can actually change or bring change to your desired reality, or rather bring change to your reality, the one that you're living in right now, your 3D world, is you have to make that change in the spiritual level. Meaning, you should be vibrating to a different frequency altogether. If you are in a reality where you are not good financially, your relationship is not working, you cannot do anything in the physical world that will change that whatsoever. You need to tap into your spiritual plane to the spiritual plane and actually transform this. And I explain how you can do this through your emotions, because that's the only language that the universe understands. You need to be it before the worlds prove it to you. Anything that you want in the world, anything that you want in your reality, you need to become it before the worlds prove it to you. Meaning that you tap into that emotion of you that has already acquired their desired reality, and you understand the type of feeling that is projected with achieving these particular things in your life, and that is what you actually feel at this very moment. But you see, with most of us, we always play the game of reality in reverse. We always want to entertain the ego, embrace it within us, and the ego operates in the fact that it has to see something and touch it to believe that it is actually true. And all these things pertains and pertains in the act of faith. You cannot please the universe by wanting to change the reality itself. The 3D world is an illusion. It keeps on shifting, it keeps on changing. You cannot depend on it. So you need to bring a change from your spiritual plane for you to understand, or rather bring a difference in the reality you are living in. And I need you to know one thing, that fear by itself is just an emotion. We all go through this sometimes in our life. We all get scared. We all entertain the emotion of fear in our life, because some of the things like we do put us in this position. And fear by itself, you need to know that it's also just the brain mechanism to actually help you survive, not to live exactly, but help you to survive. And you know, yesterday I was actually watching a documentary called The Mind. The Mind Explained. And I was actually watching how the human brain actually operates when it's under fear. And you realize that there's a part of the brain called the amygdala that actually, when you sense like something is about to happen, let's take for example, maybe you are close to a bush and you hear some movement there. So the amygdala actually kind of exaggerate whatever that is in the bush, and it extrapolates it in a way that it assumes the worst, maybe a lion and something like that, and then it exaggerates that so that you take off. Your body hits the fight or flight charge. And in most cases, yes, this will make us survive if it's actually a bad thing that is actually in the bush. But what if it's just a rabbit? And this is why sometimes we should not take everything serious happening in our life. Sometimes we get scared. Even let's take for example, you're in a relationship and your partner is not is away from you, and then you call them and you hear some background noises or something like that, and you start asking like, who are those people? You start suspicious. Your mind starts thinking the worst. We've all been there. And this is why we are supposed to understand that sometimes when fear hits us, our brain assumes the worst. What if it's just an open conference? What if there was a meeting that was going on right there? What if she's in the market? Why can't you think about that kind of perspective in your life? So the moment we assume the worst on things, we actually portray that emotion of fear. And that is what the universe reads, and that is what the universe grants us more. Whatever we fear, we tend to bring forth. That same thing that you fear is what you bring forth in your reality. It's what you manifest in your reality. And you need to understand that the emotion of fear is really strong enough to kick you off your desired reality. When you're operating on the frequency of your desired reality and you start entertaining or rather embracing fear, that's the moment you get disconnected and you move on the wrong frequency, eventually to your old frequency. Most of people that have actually achieved things in their life, like say entrepreneurs, businessmen, or just individuals that have decided to make that step, they took a risk on things that they wanted to do. And taking a risk, it means like, despite fear trying to project itself, or the old frequency trying to project fear on you, you tend to connect yourself to a higher being that controls everything, and that's the universe. When you tap on the spiritual level, the higher being, the higher you will realize that actually you can feel a different kind of emotion that dilutes this fear. And I'm going to tell you the right way you can actually get rid of fear. So there are two stories that I would like to share with you, and I think some of you know about the story that I'm about to share. The story of Job, that is the first one, and also the story of Daniel. You see, Job actually was a really close friend to God, and Job was really a spiritual person. But you see, when the devil met God and they discussed about Job, Job was faced by so many diversities in his life. And after facing all these things in his life, there's one statement Job said in the Bible, and probably I'll have it somewhere here. Job said, like, the very thing that I feared has happened to me. The very thing that I feared has happened to me. And this is why like, we shouldn't be always in the state of fear. The moment we are moving in our life and we are in the state of fear, we will only manifest that which we fear. It will actually come to life, that which we fear. You see, for instance, Job did not understand the perspective of spirituality without the ability to control your reality is vanity. He was spiritual, yes, but he was not having the ability to control the reality, which it ended him up to the same thing that he feared, and he faced it. And we see the story of Daniel, where Daniel was one of the guys that I think the king of that place said that there's no one who is allowed to pray, and that only the king should pray. But you see, Daniel, being a spiritual person, continued praying to God. And you see, this made the king very angry. Daniel was captured and thrown in the den of lions. But what do you think happened to Daniel? Nothing happened to Daniel. Because you see, in this case, Daniel did not have fear. Daniel kept his focus to God. And what is God? Higher intelligence. And that is one thing that you're supposed to understand with the manifestation when it comes to your desired reality. When you are connected with the higher being, your higher self, because you and reality are one, you and God are connected. So you need to know that when you tap to your higher self, fear has no power over you. And that is when Daniel put his focus on God, and nothing really happened to him inside the den of lions. He came out untouched, and everything was okay. So fear is not a really good emotion when it comes to manifesting your desired reality. It is one of the intense emotion that it's actually one of the emotions that is felt intensely, and anything that is felt intensely actually changes your reality really fast, because this is how just the universe actually works. So you have to have an awareness, or rather recognize how the emotion of fear actually works. And the only way you could actually deal with fear, it's not love, kindness, all that, it's not courage or something. The only way you could deal with fear is tapping into the frequency of certainty. Everything you do, everything you want to venture in, know that it is already done, and your desired reality is already there, and it's only a matter of time before it shows up on your 3D world. Understand this: the universe is a mirror. It's like a mirror. It mirrors what you show it. So picture yourself standing in the mirror. When you tilt your head, the mirror tilts its head, and that is the universe, because you and the universe are one. And you need to understand that everything that you put into the universe, everything that you do in front of the mirror, it will actually do the same thing. So after putting out your desired reality out there from within, you've manifested and all that, you need to stay in the frequency of certainty, and stay with it under your projection of faith in everything that you do. And what is faith? Faith is having assurance And that assurance is the certainty you want to project forth. You see, when a farmer plants a seed under the soil, I mean, you don't go all the time and open and see if the seed have grown. You put the seed under the soil and you believe that it will eventually germinate. So the same thing applies with your desired reality. Once you put your desired reality out there, you stay certain, and you have the assurance that it's gonna manifest in your 3D world. You don't have to go and check all the time, like, hey, what is going on? What is going on? Is my reality out yet? Has it changed? Has the car I wanted changed? The car I wanted here? Is the partner I wanted here? Is the business I wanted here? You can't do that. When you do that, it means like you're playing the game of reality in a backward way, which means you're dependent on you're dependent on seeing reality changes when your emotions will change. Stay in the right emotions. Stay in the right emotions so that the universe understands what you really want, and it can actually manifest in your 3D world. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and also share. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.